Hello, my name is Gacko and I am from Barrow-in-Furness in Cumbria, and that's in the northwest coast of Great Britain. And I am a showman, a storyteller, I suppose, and I tell stories and I sing songs. And usually you'll find me outdoors at festivals and the like with Dolly. This is Dolly. I don't know if you can see properly. This is Dolly, my cat, my mobile theatre. And Dolly and me, we work together, and she is my peripatetic perambulator of performance. But sadly, Dolly can't be here today because I can't fit her through the patio doors. And as you probably are all aware, at the moment, we're all stranded in our houses on account of coronavirus. But today I'm here telling my stories and singing my songs from my house. This is my living room, and usually Dolly and me, while we perform outdoors, we quite often we'll find people sat on the grass having a picnic, drinking some beer. So we perform outdoors. We sometimes perform in pubs. Quite often we perform in theatres, sometimes in pubs. Sometimes we perform at the seaside, on the end of the pier, usually in the pub at the end of the pier. We perform in schools, pubs. There's quite a lot of pubs, actually. And we do a show, and it's a variety show. And I'm going to perform my show for you today. Now, Shakespeare said, "The whole world's a stage, and my living room is the stage today." And if I'm on the stage, then you good people out there in the World Storytelling Cafe are in the best seats in the house. You're in the orchestral stalls. And that means that the area between us is known as the orchestral pit. And every good show should start with an overture by the orchestra. And today the orchestra is me and my guitar. So I'm going to sing you our opening song, the song that Dolly and I sing, and it goes like this here. Here we go. Hello there, I'm the vagabond from Furness. We're rolling, strolling, coming round your way. This is Dolly, my contraption, pack me stories. She's a roving and perambulant cachet. Oh, we've got anecdotes of amour and adventure, instruments and figurines with which to show. And our backdrop is the landscape of the country, and the roadside makes an adequate chateau. Because we're vagabonds and coming round your way, we're rolling, strolling, showmen of the road. Vagabonds forever on our way, with a myriad of stories to unload. Oh well, our pots and pans are properties and scenery, and these pockets bulge with magic and surprise. And each suitcase that we carry bears a legend, and the theatre is right here beneath the skies. And so it's time to pop the lid on dear old Dolly, and to offer you our cargo of tall tales. So rest back and we'll regale you with our menu of allegories, myths and parables. Because we're vagabonds and coming round your way, we're rolling, strolling, showmen of the road. Vagabonds forever on our way, with a myriad of stories. Oh, so many stories, a myriad of stories to unload. There, that's the opening song, performed, the overture of the show. And so let's get on with it. Now, I said I'm a variety guy. I use quite a lot of props to tell my stories. And Dolly, my cat, inside, she's a big box on wheels, I suppose. Inside she has lots of old suitcases, and each suitcase carries a story. And the first story I'm going to tell you in my collection this afternoon is from the biggest suitcase of them all. Here it is. Oh. Now, inside this suitcase is a classic tale. Usually outside I would perform this with the help of some people in the audience, you see. An entire ensemble of performers. But today, because we're in isolation, I'm going to have to try and do the whole story by myself. So, wish me luck. So this is a classic story. It's called The Turtle and the Hare, and it goes like this here. Once upon a time, there was a turtle. Hello, I'm a turtle. And once upon a time, there was a hare. Oh, hello, I'm a hare. It was posh, the hare. It was from Ebden Bridge. And the hare, he had a tendency to hurtle. That's run around a lot. And a turtle was laid back without a care. Now, one day, as they were lounging in the meadow, the turtle and the hare began to chat. The turtle said, I want to eat a carrot. The hare said, ooh, a carrot, yes, I'll share a bit of that. Turtle said, hang on, that carrot, that's my dinner. And the hare said, well, I'm not inclined to share. The turtle said, don't eat my carrot, I'm hungry. The hare said, I'm sorry, I don't care. They then began to bicker and to argue over who deserved to eat the carrot when. Up spoke the wise old badger, saying, listen, you'll have to have a race to sort it then. The hare said, ooh, a race, oh, that's easy, I shall beat him. That turtle, he is oh so very slow. You haven't got a chance of beating me, mate. The turtle answered, ow. The turtle answered, well, you never know. The badger said, first there will be the winner. The carrot is buried by the northern tree, and the loser will get nothing for his trouble. But the winner gets a carrot for his tea. And so they both lined up beside the badger, who raised his arms and shouted, ready, steady, go! The hare shot off faster than a rocket. The turtle, he toddled, tentatively, slow. The hare was faster than a speeding bullet, his little paws rotating, quite a blur. He quickly spied a tree off in the distance, the G-force gently rippling his fur. The turtle, meanwhile, he trundled slowly, ever forward, smiling to himself as he went forth. In full knowledge, the hare had shot off southwards when the carrot patch was growing to the north. Soon the hare arrived at his destination, and he quickly at the ground began to rake, but he couldn't find that lovely golden carrot when a voice said, quack! Duck this one. I made it myself. Are you digging me a lake? The hare said, go away, you ugly duckling. The duckling said, I'd really rather not. The hare said, you're trying to steal my carrot. The duckling shook his head and said, quack, I'm not. Meanwhile, the turtle, well, he made it to the finish. A crowd had gathered at the finish line, but that lazy turtle stopped to take a breather and fell asleep beneath an old Scotch pine. The hare, meanwhile, he realised his error and said, oh no, that's really awful news, and shot off northwards like a streak of lightning. The duckling shouted, quack! I hope you lose. Now, a wise old owl was watching from a treetop. No. I've lost weight off my ears. I'll hold it. A wise old owl was watching from a treetop, who shouted out, "Wake up, turtle, you dimwit, you! You cannot win this race if you are sleeping, and now the hare is catching up, you fool!" Well, an expectant crowd of animals had gathered. The white rabbit raised the finish line. The crowd gasped as it all went into slow motion. Do 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 dee do 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 dee do. The hare and turtle crossed at exactly the same time. The hare said, "I was first, I want my carrot." The turtle said, "You liar, you were not." The badger said, "It was a photo finish." The duckling quacked and danced upon the spot. The owl said, "Well, you two will have to share it." The crowd said, "Hip, hip, hip, hip." Just then, the hedgehog popped up with the carrot, and he stuffed it in his mouth without delay, saying, "Turtle must learn not to be so lazy, and Hare must always plan his exercise, and if you all stay fit and plan your journey, then one day you will all receive the prize." And that is the story of the turtle and the hare. Thank you very much. There we are. I'll tidy this one away. Always have to tidy up after yourself, especially when you're in lockdown. Now, lots of storytellers that I know always acknowledge the people that taught them a routine. And I'm no different, because as a young burgeoning performer of just 30 years, I owe, of course, lots of credit to the people who I watched when I was younger, performing, to influence what I am today, I suppose. And what I thought I'd do next is a music hall recitation, and it was a performer on the music hall that used to do this routine by the name of Rob Wilton. And Rob Wilton, well, I didn't see him perform myself because I'm merely 51 years old. So I learned this routine from an act that I was very fond of and still am in its latest incarnation. And that act was called Cosmotheca, and they were based in the Midlands. And it was two brothers who did a music hall inspired act. And this recitation, this music hall recitation, was performed by them, and I learnt it from their albums actually, and subsequently I've seen them perform it live. So it's originally a Rob Wilton routine. The routine's called Back Answers, but I learned it from the great Cosmotheca, and it goes like this here. I'm subject to colds, and they send me quite deaf, and then I can't hear what you say. But a fellow once offered to buy me a drink. I heard that with a cold, by the way. As we sat, we got chatting of girls that we'd met. I described a sweet girl dressed in red. My description was good, and my pal went half mad. It was the girl he was going to wed. He said, "I'll punch your head." I said, "Whose?" He said, "Yours." I said, "Mine?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Oh." He said, "Do you want to fight?" I said, "Who?" He said, "You." I said, "Me?" He said, "Yes." I said, "No." So we then got to words, and he said, "You're a cad." I said, "Cad?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Who?" He said, "You." I said, "Me?" He said, "You." So, of course, from then on, I knew. Now, the day I got married some years ago, I always will picture the scene. There was me and Jim Lowe married Maudie and Flo, who were twin sisters, and always had been. We were married all right at 2:15, but somehow we must have got mixed. Jim said, "Which is mine?" I said, "Oh, never mind, let's just get the blooming thing fixed." He said, "Have you married Flo?" I said, "Flo, I don't know. But what if I have? You've got one." He said, I wanted Flo. I said, oh, is that so? Well, your only chance has just gone. He said, did you know that you'd married Flo? I said, no, I don't know that I knew. He said, you've married mine. She's got £10,000. I said, well, never mind, she'll do. Now, a sail on the sea is a thing what suits me. And I've done some sailing, it's true. But I was at my wit's end one night off Land's End. It was a night when I'd had one or two. The skipper come out on the bridge and said, lads, we're doomed. The old ship's going down. To the boats, every man except you. I said, me? He said, yes, there's no room, you must drown. I said, drown? He said, drown, the old ship's going down, so don't just stand arguing there. I've just told you straight, there's no room for you, mate, in the boat or in fact, anywhere. He said, I know it's upsetting, but what's the use fretting? We might have lost all of the crew, and now, like I say, we can all get away and we'll only lose one, and that's you. Bum, bum. There you are. So a story there, well, a monologue by Rob Wilson, taught to me by the great Cosmotheca. And their speciality, of course, was music hall material, which a lot of people these days would regard as old-fashioned. And a lot of my stories, in fact, a lot of people's stories are old-fashioned, I suppose. Traditional, historic is another word. And what's interesting is that that material will work for children and old people alike, but there's one section of the audience that are always a lot harder to engage as a storyteller or a live performer, and they of course are teenagers. Now you can tell a teenager, they're usually fair of face, youthful looking, and most of the time they wear hoodies, and hoodies are pretty much a jumper with a hood. And you can always tell when the teenager wishes to be engaged. If their hood is up, the teenager very much wants to be left alone. But if the hood is down, they're receptive. And I'll tell you this story because a couple of years ago, I was performing at a festival on the northwest coast of Cumbria called Kendal Calling, and Kendal Calling is one of those big festivals with huge stages and hot dog machines, beer and all that kind of stuff. And I learned a routine there, or I adapted one, because I was approached by some young people previously who said that there was a number of them. They were grazing like cattle, about 20, 15-year-olds, and they approached, having watched my show up in Cleator-Moor, I think it was, and they said, "Here, dude," and I was the dude. So I said, "Yes, lads," and they said, "Here, dude, your show is sick." And I said, "Well, I'm very sorry, fellas." And they said, "No, that's all right. Sick means it's good." So confused, they said, "But it's all really old-fashioned. Don't you do anything modern?" And I said, "Well, not really. I do old-fashioned stuff." And I felt awful for them that I'd kind of left them out. So when I was performing at Kendal Calling, the big festival there was a man on the main stage from America, a rappy man he was, by the name of Snoopy the Doggy Dog. He's a rappy man. There's a number of them. There's another chap called 50 Pence. And in Barrow, I think we know him as 10 Bob. And rapping, what I discovered, firstly I discovered I really liked it. And secondly, what I discovered is basically rapping is just storytelling with a beat. So, in order to deliver something for the teenagers, I worked on this routine. And this routine is another classic. You will have heard this story many times, but you might not have heard it like this. And to make it work, what I need is one of these. And this is called a beat box. And what you do is you press this button, and it should come on and go bibbly, bibbly, bibbly bomb. And you pop it there, I suppose. And then finally, what you need is one of these. And this is a miracle of technology. It's called an iPhone. And not only is it a phone, it's also a camera and a diary. I just have to put my secret number in. There we are, 1977. And if this works, then you should hear some rappy music. So the story I'm going to tell you is the story of Little Red Riding Hood, but it's done in a LA South Side of Chicago gangster style. Wish me luck. It goes like this here. I've just got to press this button. You should hear the rappy music. There you are. Do you hear the rappy music? I think that's loud enough. So, a 300-year-old story at least that I'm sure you all know. Little Red Riding Hood. Wish me the best of luck. Okay, it goes like this. Once upon a time, miles and years ago, was a tiny little cottage, real proper beau. And in that crib lived an old wood butcher. He could make a chair, he could make a hutch. Yeah! That's called cutting a shape. So, Little Red Riding Hood's father was a carpenter, and he says, "Now listen, my homie, your granny is quite ill. You best go off and see her in a house beyond the hill. And don't you talk to strangers, don't stray from the road, or you will be in trouble, far from your abode." So off went the girl down the lane through the wood, cautiously, carefully, far from a neighbourhood. And there she stopped to pick a flower, heard a voice that would make her cower. And y'all know who the baddie is in Little Red Riding Hood. Can you remember? That's right, the big bad wolf. And he says, "Hello, my pretty, myself I'm from the lane. I'm off to see me granny, says she's throwing up again. Why don't you take a shortcut? Okay, I'll leave the track. I'll get to granny's cottage first, break into a shack, fool." That's a shape again, you see. So, Little Red Riding Hood is sent the wrong way by that naughty wolf. And the wolf's intention is to get to Granny's cottage first and eat that Granny in his tummy. And you all say, "Oh no!" You say, "Oh no!" You say, "Oh no!" Oh yes, I'm afraid, because, well, the wolf arrived at Granny's and knocked upon the door. When she opened up the portal and he threw her to the floor. And then there was a rumble, a monumental fight. He chased around the kitchen, was a shocking sight. Wolf chased Granny, Granny chased him back. Up the stairs, down again, he went for an attack. She kneed him in the nuggets, he fell on the floor. Then he turned and in a flash, Granny was no more. No more Granny in the house now. Granny is in the wolfie's tummy, y'all. So, Little Red Riding Hood, well, she arrives at her granny's cottage and she doesn't know that that naughty wolf has gobbled her up. And she says, "At last I'm at my granny's, I got lost in the woods." She opened up the cottage door, a voice said, "Come in, love." She looked him over, got the big surprise. "Hey, Granny, what's happened to your eyes?" Now you all know this bit. This is the what big eyes you've got, what big teeth you've got, what big claws you've got. So it goes like this. What big eyes? All the best to see you with nose. All the best to sniff you with teeth. All the best to eat you with. Come into my cottage, girl, the porridge is a fine big eyes. All the best to see you with nose. All the best to sniff you with teeth. All the best to eat you with. Come into my cottage, girl, the porridge is so fine. And at the end of the story, there's a fight between Red Riding Hood and the wolf. And Red Riding Hood wins. Red Riding Hood is triumphant! And every good story needs an ending, and here comes ours now, because, of course, well, the wolf was defeated, Granny, she was saved. Happily together, they went to find a rave. So don't you talk to strangers, don't stray from the lane, or I'll have to sing this fairy rap again. There, I'm right out of breath now. Oh, so, of course, we tell stories to each other sometimes as a way to educate, I suppose, to tell people morals or teach lessons. And well, Little Red Riding Hood, of course, especially for you young people, Little Red Riding Hood does have a message or a moral, and the message is as important today as it always has been, especially for you young people out there. And the message of Little Red Riding Hood is this: when you get to 50 years old or older, don't try rapping. So, I think I've got time for one more. I think so, yes. So, I'll do you one more. What I'm going to do is a new routine, and what they say is you shouldn't do new routines in front of an audience first, but here in isolation, I haven't got any choice, have I? When I eventually can go out and tell stories again to a live audience, which hopefully will include you good people in the world storytelling cafe community. When I do this routine, it will be for the first time, and so it's something I've been working on. But the problem is, what I haven't got is the props. You'll probably guess I'm a prop man, really. I use hats and I use puppets. And today, well, I've had to find the things I need to tell the story as best I can. And so I've had to look around the house and make things. Usually, I'm very lucky. I've got some friends who are really gifted artist makers. They'll make me my hats, my costumes, my props, puppets. But today we're all in isolation. They'll be at home with their own families, I suppose, having a pint of tea and the like. And so I've had to squirrel around and find things. So the story new story, I'm going to premiere on you, and I hear from my good friend Mr. Douglas. Ian Douglas tells me that you're a fabulous audience and quite forgiving. So I'm going to try a new routine that hasn't been outdoors with things I found around the house. The story is called The House That Jack Built. So there's bags of malt and there's all kinds of animals. So I've had to improvise. And here I am in my house, so the best prop of all will be the house itself. So this is the house that Jack built. This is the malt. That lay in the house that Jack built. And it does seem a shame to waste it as I'm not driving anywhere, am I? So here we are, the malt that lay in the house that Jack built. Cheers. Now, this is the rat. I found this one up in the loft. This is the rat that nibbled the malt. Well, I suppose I started, so I'll finish. Cheers. Oh. That lay in the house that Jack built. This is the cat. Meow. That ate the rat. That nibbled the malt. I haven't thought this through, have I? Cheers. That lay in the house that Jack built. This is the dog. Woof! That bit the cat, that ate the rat, that nibbled the malt. Cheers. That lay in a house that Jack built. This is a cow with the crumpled horn that tossed the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the rat, ate the rat, ate the rat. Oh, I've got a little shake. Cheers. Ballet in a house. What Jack built. This is a maid. All for long. Just get the hat on there. It's a bit of a struggle after so many nibbles of malt. This is a maid, all forlorn. She's all forlorn. I don't know why, because she's quite good looking. This is a maid, all forlorn, that milks the cow with a crumpled horn, that tossed the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the rat, that nibbled the malt. Cheers. That nibble and malt. That lay in a house. What Gacko built is a man all tattered and torn. He's down on his luck. This is a man all tattered and torn who nibbled the malt. Well, he didn't nibble. Well, I suppose he could nibble the malt. It's cold outside. Shame for him because he's tattered and torn. See? There we go. A little nibble of malt for him. Make it a double, I suppose. Cheers. Oh, this fella, this man. This is the man, all tattered and torn, who married the maid, all forlorn. I'm all forlorn. That milks the cow with a crumpled horn. What tossed the dog, and the dog, well, the dog bit the cat. Moo. And a cat ate the rat. And we all know what the rat did. Hey, don't we? Yeah. The rat nibbled the malt. Here we go again. A rat, a naughty rat. Nibble the malt. There we go. Double the malt, nibble the malt. Cheers. A rat did nibble the malt. And the malt, as we all know, it lay in a house what Gacko built. This, Lexton, this is the vicar, all shaven and shorn. That's the best I could find. He's quite well shaven and shorn today. This is vicar, all shaven and shorn, whom married a man all forlorn to the woman. The woman married her. She was all forlorn, and he married her, and she is the woman that milks the cow with a crumpled horn, which tossed the dog, and the dog cat dog. Oh, the cat's falling off. They're always going out, aren't they? Oh, the cat ate the rat. And we know what the rat did, eh? Don't we? There you go. A rat. Well, he nibbled a malt. There you are. You need a little nibble of malt sometimes, especially in these days of isolation. Because we all miss out with, well, shit, isn't it? We can't go out much other than down the grocery shop or like a chemist. I do miss my friends. I don't know about you. I miss everybody, all people play out with and do shows with. Anyway, cheers. Hey, I know we've not met each other a long time, but you're all my best friends. Yeah. Hey, here's to you. Cheers. Uppy tight and hooly. Oh. This one is the cock. Where did the cock go? This one is a cock. What crowed in the morn? Cock-a-doo-doo! Yeah. Cock-a-doo-doo! This is a cock. What crowed in the morn? And the man, and it woke the vicar. Where's the vicar gone? Has he ascended? Where's the vicar? Oh, here he is. This is a vicar, or woke the vicar, or shaven and shorn, and he married the man all tattered and torn to the maid, all forlorn, who tossed the cow, and the cow tossed the dog, and the dog bit the cat, what ate the rat. It's nibble and malt time. I love my work. I do. And nibble and malt, the rat. There, got all the rat. Cheers. Ooh. Listen. Here is a farmer who fed the corn to a cock what crowed in the morn, and the cock awoke the vicar, all shaven and shorn, who married the man, all tattered and torn, to the maid, all forlorn, that built the cow with a crumpled horn, that tossed the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the rat, and nibble and malt. And rush through them, nibble and malt there, can we? Here we go. Nibble and malt. What are they in the house? Or is that built? Cheers. Oh. So, my new friends. Is that little camera still working? Yes. So, my little friends, wherever you may be in your own isolation, I hope you're surrounded by your friends. I hope you're using your time productively, and I hope you're enjoying the stories from my colleagues and friends here at the World Storytelling Cafe. And I've been watching a lot of these performances, and they're all great. And the good thing about these performances is if you look down below on the screen, there's a button, and it's like a virtual hat. And if you've enjoyed the shows, you can pop a pound or fold up a £50 note and virtually pop something in the hat for people. So if you're wealthy enough to pop a little something in my hat, I'll be very grateful. And if you can't afford to pop anything in the hat, don't worry about it. This little show's a gift. So thank you for watching. And it is working. Hello again. Sorry, the battery went just before the finale. So I'll do it anyway. The finale is a song, and it's a song from a show I do with my good friend Ian Douglas, and the show is called The Gift of the Gab, and it's a collection of songs and stories that we are working on. We're still working on the second half, and it's a show we sometimes do outside, but mostly we perform in theatres and venues. And at the very end of the show, we sing this song, and the song was a gift to us from our friend Jim Woodland, the great songwriter. And some people might know him from I first saw him in an act called The Fabulous Salami Brothers, where he was the songwriter, and there was a juggler called Ricardo Three Balls, and Mike Bettison, and of course, a familiar name to lots of you in the storytelling world, the great Taffy Thomas. He was a salami brother too. That's where I first met Taffy. So this is a Jim Woodland song that we finish our show with. I hope you like it. And it goes like this here. We tell stories to each other to while away the days. We tell stories to each other to keep the night at bay. About life and death and love and hate, as much as we recall. We tell stories to each other, that is all. But spin me another one, just like the other one. Spin me and show me the writing on the wall. We are dancers, romancers, answering the call. We tell stories to each other, that is all. We tell stories to each other, that is all. We tell stories to each other, exploring history. We tell stories to each other, adoring mysteries. We shine light into the darkness, shadows dance and fall. We tell stories to each other, that is all. But spin me another one, just like the other one. Spin me and show me the writing on the wall. We are dancers, romancers, answering the call. We tell stories to each other, that is all. We tell stories to each other, that is all. We tell stories to each other that people want to hear, the devils and the angels dancing in our head. We tell stories to each other of reason and of rhyme, happy ever after, once upon a time. Join in if you know it. But spin me another one, just like the other one. Spin me and show me the writing on the wall. We are dancers, romancers, answering the call. We tell stories to each other, that is all. We tell stories to each other, and that is all. Thanks, Jim. Enjoy more stories, look after yourselves, and hopefully see you out in a field one of these days.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just been listening to the most magnificent storyteller, and just like if you come into a pub or a bar, if you happen to be in America, and there's no door charge, but there's a tip jar or there's a hat, we'd really appreciate it, because our tellers, they've got no way to earn at the moment. We'd really appreciate it if you could reach into your pocket and you could drop a little something into the hat. Thank you. And to do that, you have to go to the website, World Storytelling Cafe.